Hello, everybody. I'm going to get a chair.
We're doing it on the portal again, so hopefully the video and the volume's okay.
You have more room to spread out on this one.
Yeah. All right, so we got a couple updates. It's been a little while since we've chatted with you guys. I think it was right after the accident we may have done one. Is that right? No.
We haven't done a live in a really, really long time.
Oh, wow. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So I got in a pretty bad car wreck.
Look, hold on. Tanya. What's up, John?
Hey, Tanya.
I saw Kayla at Target the other day.
Yeah?
Looking fly. Looking fly or
Flies.
fire or whatever they say these days.
On fire. That's right.
Okay. So, yeah, September 15th. Recap
So
us, honey.
the 14th, we got the great MRI results. And then on the 15th, I did a webinar with one of my new business partners, a guy out of Nebraska, out of Omaha, named Ron Carson. So he and I did kind of a joint webinar, which went really, really well. I was driving home and apparently had a seizure on 400 and felt it was coming on, felt kind of strange, so I tried to pull over, but I pulled over in kind of a funky lane that wasn't really a shoulder. So I looked to my right and I saw the shoulder was open, so I tried to go there, and right when I did that, my legs just straightened out and crushed the gas pedal. I was in my Tesla, which was bad because it's so fast, but it was good because it's so safe. And felt myself merging back into the lanes and just kind of put my head back and just braced for impact. Next thing I knew, I woke up and I was in the Jersey wall getting cut out of the car with paramedics all over the place, and I had no idea what had frickin' happened. So that was brutal. So they took me to the hospital. I had to stay there for like 3 days, 2 broken knees, 5 broken ribs.
4 days.
Yeah, and COVID, and Pam couldn't stay with me, and they weren't giving me any of my meds, so it was a nightmare. North Fulton Hospital, not highly recommended.
So we haven't had this. So I was at work that day in Gainesville, and I was having dinner with a friend down in Perimeter because it was her birthday, Anita Van Ice. It was her birthday. So I was going straight from Gainesville to Perimeter, which is like a little over an hour. And I was on my way, and I thought, I got there. He called me right when I got there, and I'm like, ugh. Like he can't remember.
Nice. Ugh.
He can't remember what
Every
he's supposed
time
to
I
feed
call, it's
he
such a
can't remember
task.
what he's supposed to feed the kids for dinner. Oh my God.
She doesn't know what task is until this whole fiasco.
Truth. So I answered, and he was like, hey, I got into an accident. And I was like, what? Oh my God, okay. Do you need me to come pick you up? Like, where are you? He's like, I'm in the hospital. You're in the hospital? Hi, Kathy. You're in the hospital. What are you talking about? This was 6:30. Got into the accident at 4 o'clock, and no one had called me.
Yeah, I said, somebody please call my wife. I asked all the way to the hospital. Nobody did it, and they didn't do it at the hospital. So I finally just said, I need my damn cell phone.
Like, thankfully, he wasn't unconscious.
Yeah.
So he could call me. He was like, I'm in the hospital. Didn't know what happened.
Another chapter in the book. It's unfreaking believable. So long story short, stayed in there for like 3 or 4 days because of the knee problems, and I couldn't. They said.
Well, talk about your injuries.
So I had the 5 broken ribs, 2 broken knees, a laceration on my right ankle that they
Pretty vicious.
Yeah, pretty nasty. It was like a circular thing right around almost the entire ankle. That was just getting out of the car. The EMT guy said, I don't know what you paid for this car, but whatever you did, it was worth it because that thing just saved your life.
Yep. It did.
I thought you posted that car.
I did. I posted pictures.
It was it was wrapped around me basically. Crazy.
Yep. So he was cut out of it.
Yeah, they cut me out, and the only cut I ended up having was trying to get out of it. My foot was caught underneath, so it had to kind of spiral out. So it just hit a sharp piece of metal, I guess, and just sliced me open. And then they were like closing it up with a staple gun. It sounded like they were hanging shingles. It was just like bam, 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 bam. It was like 10, 12 just right in a row. I was like, you think you may want to take a little more time with that? But I couldn't feel it, so that was good.
See what Tanya's saying? You have some serious purpose on this earth, John Baker. And also known as what somebody else said is your angels are fucking exhausted. So cut
Yeah,
the
I got to
shit.
give them a break for sure.
Cut the shit. So yeah, I couldn't go see him. I was on my way. I left the restaurant. I didn't stay and have dinner.
That's kind of you.
So I was like, I gotta go. And I'm driving there, and they were like, you can't come in. So you don't need to come here. So I went home. Everybody's here. Not everybody. JoJo and Jess. I don't remember. It's all a blur. Anyway, we still had no idea. We had no idea who was involved, how it happened, what the injuries were. So finally, I got in touch with the ER doc who told me you had a punctured lung,
Right,
had
that
a
was fun.
chest tube.
Yeah, they literally cut me open in the ER and put a tube into my chest because my lung had collapsed, I guess. Getting that out was lots of fun. Putting it in wasn't, it was painful, but they numbed you up pretty good. But pulling it out, it was, oh my God, rough.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
when
that
all
was on
is
the
said and
15th, and I
done,
was out on what, the 19th?
Saturday. So it happened on Tuesday. You're out on Saturday because I almost killed somebody. I think they were like, she's gonna come and kill somebody, so we need to let him out.
Yeah, they didn't know their ass from a hole in the ground. I was like, look, I'm on these meds. Oh, that was the other thing. Was it diabetes? No.
Yeah. So because he's on this cocktail for his cancer, and if you guys recall, it's an antibiotic, a dewormer, medication for diabetes, and a statin drug for cholesterol. Well, he doesn't have any of those things. It's just the cocktail works for the cancer. So he's in there, and I'm like, he has to be on this med. You guys cannot miss these. We don't know. Um, Punctured lung club here. Yeah, good times. So he can't miss these. Well, meanwhile, I've explained this over and over and over. And I've also explained that he had just had a Avastin, you guys. He had a Avastin on Monday. The accident was on Tuesday. Well, one of the side effects of Avastin is you don't heal and your blood doesn't clot, so you don't stop bleeding. So I'm like, I can't even think of the word. Like, I was frantically calling them. Like, he's on Avastin. Oh, because at that time, they said you had a brain bleed too. So I called his oncologist and I was like, he just got an accident. La 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 la. They said he had a brain bleed. What do I do? And that's a good idea, Dr. McCarty. Keep a list in your driver's license. Yep. So he's like, well, sometimes the residual stuff that's happened from the brain cancer can present like a brain bleed if they don't know what they're looking at. So I'm on the phone trying to get in touch with them. Like, he has to be on these meds. It might not be a brain bleed. Don't do surgery. He's had a Avastin and he won't heal and he won't stop bleeding. Like, you can't do surgery. And they're thinking I'm a lunatic. And I'm like, I probably know more than you,
So
mother
Garen's
effers.
doctors thought you were lunatic.
I was mad. So I'm literally.
Not a good start.
It was not a good start.
To the hospital.
I'm literally at this table over there. Jojo and Jessa are here. I'm at the other end, and I'm on the phone with the ER doc, and he's like, he has a punctured lung, he has 5 broken ribs, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, okay, how would you classify the severity of his punctured lung? Would you classify it? It's pretty common for a car accident. I was like, well, what does that mean? He's never had a punctured lung before. Would you classify it as mild, moderate, or severe? he was like, it's moderate. It's what, okay, okay. That's all I need is information to go by. Anyway, by day 4, when I'm on the phone with him and I hear the nurse trying to take his goddamn blood again, test his blood sugars because he's diabetic. No, he's not diabetic. He's just on diabetes medication because I've already explained this.
And so had I.
And so had he.
3 different
and so
people
I said, put
never got into
her
Detroit.
on the phone. I was so mad. Put her on the phone. And so she gets on the phone and I said, to whom am I speaking? I was so mad. And
Not happy, for sure.
so she said whatever her name was. It was the nurse. And she said, we're testing his blood because he has diabetes. And he, no, he doesn't. And I was like, I have explained this 3 times. He does not have diabetes. He needs this medication. La 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 la. Get him out of there. He needs to get out. And that was on Saturday. And so she actually got him out. She actually got him out that day because she was like, I don't want to deal with this bitch anymore. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So then I got home, and then the fun really started. So Pam had brilliantly pre-bought a recliner chair. Should we show my room?
You should. Your bedroom for the past 2 weeks.
There you go. All right. So if you ever are paralyzed or cannot move around, that's the chair that you want right there.
Yep.
So that has been my home for 7 weeks.
Yep. 2 months.
Yeah. Been a while. It's getting old, people. I gotta tell you.
They did scare her, Tanya. She was like, get him out.
Yeah, it was
gonna
bad.
Kill somebody.
Yeah, so I got out. I got home. The chair was here. I've been in the chair for 7 weeks. Barely moved. You know, I've been doing PT the whole time, and so my right.
I mean, not the whole time.
Yeah, my right. Since I've been home, not like constantly, right? But PT comes and I do the PT, and then they leave and I do PT. And so the right leg was worse than the left, but the left could bear weight at least. So I got an old man walker. This is show and tell. Not show and tell, but I want to show you. I'd show you the bathroom show and tell, but that's really embarrassing.
Show me the urinal or the bedside commode. That's super cool.
Oh my God, we have freaking been through it. And then when I say we, I've been through it, but she has, like, the vows she took back on that fateful day in September of 1997 was one that she may never, take again or live down.
What did I say to you? I said, you are pushing these wedding vows right to the limit. To the limit.
Yeah, there's been some. I've been pushed just going through it. Just been like, this is just not good for you. And I'm on the receiving end of this, stuff, and I got the pain, but man, waiting on hand and foot. I can't walk. I can't go to the bathroom. I can't eat. Can't get my own meds. I can't do anything. So the left leg good. Luckily, I've been able to use the walker on the left leg and hobbling around a little bit, but the right leg is non-weight bearing. So I haven't been able to do anything with that except some physical therapy stuff to just kind of keep it a little bit strong. So when I get the green light, hopefully I can recover a little bit faster. So we have a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning to see if I get the green light on the right leg. And if we do, then they can start doing PT. I can start doing PT on the right leg.
Is your mother coming to get you that, by the way?
She is. It's all taken care of.
Okay. Yes, and he can start finally getting around a little bit better. Anyway.
So that's the.
And he's lost 30 pounds.
Yeah, 28 pounds. Now about 8 to 10 of that was, I think, excess. I went a little high. Last time we went through this nonsense, Pam's like, you got to pack on some freaking pounds. And I took that to heart, man.
You look like a concentration camp
I was eating
victim.
3 meals at a setting.
He would sit for an hour and
just keep eating. That was over the summer. And so I got that weight up to like 218, which is a good 10 pounds more than my fighting weight is like 205 to 210. But yeah, last time I went in to get weight, I was 190. So yeah, I am leaned out for sure. So I'm starting my eating routine once again. And thanks to all the people that did the meal train, and we
We got a
had
lot of
we
good
had food for like 10 days straight.
like
Still,
3
I think
weeks.
have some leftovers, and I know we still have some Uber Eats
God damn it.
coupons and cards and stuff.
We used Uber Eats tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Cook. I got something in my wine.
Rescue it.
Rescue it. Rescue my wine. Anyway, so that's that. He hasn't been in the mood. He's still alive.
I haven't been in the mood. I don't think you've been in the mood there, honey.
I've wanted to go live, and you
Not live.
have not.
I'm talking about being in the mood.
Well,
I
you're so dumb.
know, but I
You're
had to
not
throw
even-
something in there. Yeah, that is. I had to throw something in there.
You're retarded.
But yeah, that is
I shouldn't have said that. You're not.
have been the last thing ever. Yeah, not on anybody's mind. That's been anywhere around us and experienced.
I mean, there's
this
something
nonsense.
special about dumping a commode.
It's gross. So nasty. But she did it.
I did.
I was going to say with a smile on her face, but she didn't have a smile.
Did not.
No. And I'm now gradually starting to get more shit kind of put on me. You don't clear your damn dishes. What the fuck? I can't walk. She's like, well, clear your damn dishes. Like, all right,
I
fine.
was Beanie the other day when you're like, Beanie, can you do me a big favor and empty this urinal? And she was like, ew, no, why are you still using that? That's gross.
So I'm getting pushed back.
So he hooked the urinal to his walker and scooted into the bathroom.
I'm like, if I spill this, you guys are going to be really pissed.
Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, it wasn't funny.
I thought it was funny.
I know, you think everything's funny. It's at my cost.
Look at all the funny things that are popping up.
Yeah.
That was funny. She's so me. I love it. So, anyway.
So this week I was supposed to get this x-ray so I could check out my right leg on Monday, but the orthopedic surgeon got called into emergency surgery, so that got canceled and couldn't get rescheduled until Thursday. So that got delayed, and then we had an MRI scheduled for yesterday, and next week another Avastin. But the surgeon's like, yeah, no Avastin. That's a whole nother story. So I got to go in for another surgery on November 4th. Should we just skip to that now?
No. Do you want to skip to that and then we'll
Yeah, sure.
end with?
I mean, I kind of put it out there already, so might as well.
Jamie's on. You gotta meet Jamie. He's my work bud.
All right.
We have a new game plan, don't we?
Do you?
Yep.
What's the Lincoln about?
Oh, he's smart. He came up with something good.
All right.
You'd approve. Anyway.
So my last visit
okay, back up 1 second.
My last
so,
visit to the doctor. You want to do this?
When I start talking, I want you to stop talking. That's what.
Holy shit, people.
That's what we do. So if you recall, I don't know if we ever talked about this. Look at all this hair, by the way. Can we talk about it? It's not going to last long.
No.
Because, look, he has a big bald spot, and we're not going to go with that.
No.
So, it's soft, though. It's very monchichi. So, if you guys recall, back in this January, when you had your last surgery, he had this spot on his head. Remember, we talked about it. He's had this scab on his head right there. He's had it since January. Would not heal. And so, and remember when he was doing the Optune, we had to place it strategically around the scab so it wouldn't like burn up the scab and irritate it. And so we're doing all this and it wouldn't heal. What, 2 weeks ago? Because y'all, sponge baths. Holy God.
What?
Anyway, I was cleaning you, and I was like, that's not a scab anymore. And I literally was like, that's metal. There's metal coming out of your head. You guys. No, hold on. Oh, God. See that little spot right there? If you can see that it's shiny because it's metal. Metal is coming out of his head.
Fun with Pam and John.
And I was like, it is kind of like the new Papasan, Elsie. So he has metal coming out his damn head. I was like, well, holy shit. He's like the Terminator. It's like his face is going to peel off and it's going to be all like a robot under there. So when we went to the doctor's last week.
No, you mean to read?
Yeah, when Felicia looked at your head and we were like,
Oh yeah,
what is up? Was it last Monday?
that was. I don't think so. Was that a Avastin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a regular doctor's appointment, no MRI, but an Avastin infusion. Before we realized that we shouldn't be doing that.
No, no, no.
Yeah,
No.
that was Felicia.
No. He had pushed off the Avastin because of the healing situations, we kind of skipped one and then we went
Yeah.
to the next one. And Felicia, the nurse practitioner, we were like, what about this? What about this metal coming out of his head? And she looked and she was like, that's hardware. We're like, okay, or metal, like a screw. And so she's like, you need to go see the neurosurgeon. So,
I'm like, no.
no, no
I got two broken
neurosurgeon.
freaking knees. I can barely handle the doctor's appointments I've got now.
So they went to the neurosurgeon. Jojo took you to that one, right? Jody, fun with him and John. Snort laughed. So Jojo took you to that one? Yeah, Jojo took you to that one.
Yeah.
And yeah, she was like, yeah. I mean, you tell. I wasn't there.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, we're gonna have to go in and fix that. I'm like, that doesn't sound good. She's like, yeah, we're gonna have to do another surgery to fix that. I said, well, what does that entail? And she said, basically, we have to go in, open you up, and there's a plate underneath your skin with a screw in it into your skull. We got to take the screw out. We got to move the plate to a place that's better covered with your skin, I guess.
Because the skin's so thin where the scar is.
Right.
It needs to move to a thicker part of skin.
Right, which I don't know why they wouldn't have done that in the first place in January, but I think she just did it and let it heal, and it healed up well enough where they didn't feel like that it was going to be an issue. But of course, everything's always an issue. So I was like shocked. I was like, hell no! I got two freaking broken knees. I can barely breathe because of my ribs, and you want me to go into a damn hospital under COVID again, and go under general anesthesia and all that fun that you get to do with all that crap. So I was a little bit in shock. I didn't even know the questions to ask. So I got home and had a freaking meltdown.
You did. It's okay. It's okay to have a meltdown. As long as you don't stay down.
Yeah, so emailed her back with a bunch of questions, and she emailed me back with the answers that were okay. You know, still have to go through general anesthesia, still have to stay overnight. But I was like, I got to get out of there because every time I go in the hospital, I'm always waiting on PT and OT because I don't know why they were so freaking backed up. But, you know, you hire a few more people. I mean, we're paying you guys. Let's go. So we are always waiting on them to get out. And I'm like, I do not want to be in here not being able to walk and not being able to breathe or sit in a bed.
Or not being able to have me there to kick some ass when it needs to be kicked.
Right. So we had lots of reasons why we didn't want to do this right now. And she basically said, well, it's got to be done, but it doesn't have to be done right now. If you want to push it off like a week.
An open wound, it could get infection straight into his brain. So
Yeah.
don't want that.
And reality is, especially if I can get the sign off on my knee, that'll be better. At least I'll be able to hobble around instead of, worrying about, re-breaking my knee just by putting weight on it or something like that. So, long story short on that, going back in for surgery November 4th to have this thing freaking dealt with. And then she said, oh, you're on that Avastin process, aren't you? I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, you can't do that anymore. So I had an Avastin scheduled for next week and an MRI scheduled for yesterday. Is it yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
So she said, yeah, no Avastin because that's going to hurt the healing thing. And I'm like, yeah, I remember that. So she canceled that. But we asked, hey, would it be a good idea to maybe do the MRI? So if there's something that's going on in there, you'll know. And if we have to go in for like a full surgery, we can do once and not have to go twice. So anyway, We did the MRI yesterday, trying to get back for.
I'm gonna interrupt you for a moment. I went into very nervous because we hadn't posted, we hadn't done anything on this. And every time he has an MRI coming, I depend. I don't know if you do. I depend on you guys so much because I'm such a huge believer in that you got to put it out. You got to put it out into the world and let everybody send their goodness at the time because I really truly believe that makes a difference. The universe, the angels, the gods, whatever, whoever's listening can hear all these people at the same time cheering him on while he's doing this. I feel like that really makes a difference. So we hadn't put anything out, and I was freaking out because I was like, we didn't put anything out. Nobody knows you're even having an MRI. It's only like a handful of us, and that's not enough voices. It's not enough voices to be sending the message to the universe that they need to take you seriously. I was freaking out. So we went down to the MRI yesterday. And then the doctor was like, well, I can't stay because your MRI is so late. And we're like, what? We're going to have this MRI and we're not going to be able to get the results. And when the hell are we going to get the results? And oh my God, it was just a shit show.
It was a shit show.
And it was backed up and delayed and blah, blah, blah. And
yeah,
it was a shit show. Oh my God.
30 minutes early. And we're trying to get back for Beanie's state volleyball match.
Elite 8.
Yeah. And so we were on what I knew to be a tight schedule. Pam was not so sure it was a tight schedule. I'm like, look, it's going to take me an hour. When they take me back, it'll take at least an hour for me to come back and for us to be able to get out of here. So by the time 5 o'clock rolled around, we're starting to kind of.
We had a 4 o'clock appointment that we were 30 minutes early for.
Yeah, it was.
And they're like, I don't know how long it's going to take. So.
Didn't they say that they couldn't do the infusion? Not the infusion, the contrast at that floor?
Well, they were on the ground floor, and then they said you have to go up to the 8th floor because that's where they're going to do the contrast. And then by the time it was so backed up, they said, well, the person who monitors the contrasting is going to be gone by the time he gets taken back. So you have to go back down to the ground floor. And I finally said, you know what? I said this kind of early, though. We wanted to get back for volleyball, but I said,
I have young children that have to be picked up at 6:30 in Roswell. They're going to be put on the streets by themselves if we don't get back there.
That's basically what I said.
Yeah.
They were like, can't you make arrangements? I said, no, I can't.
No, you freaking assholes.
Yeah.
4 o'clock was the time we're supposed to start this thing.
I should be home by 6:30.
Yeah.
We're 20 minutes away. So, anyway, I was a little bit of a squeaky wheel. But
yeah.
Ended up happening. I kept being squeaky. So we ended up just being 15 minutes late for volleyball. But we were there. But then we're like, shit, when are we going to find out the results? And as I was driving home, the oncologist called him and I hear him going, yeah, okay, yeah. All right, well, can you print a picture so that we can see what it looks like when we talk on the phone and follow along? La 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 la. Okay, da 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 da. And I was getting no vibe. And then he hung up the phone. Had a few tears. I was like, what? And what did he say?
He said it so it looked better than it did in September.
So our September 14th, before the drama of the accident, yesterday's MRI looked even better than that one, which looked better than the one before. We haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, I'd show you a picture. But
yeah, you would.
I would. We haven't seen it, but that's what he says. It looks even better. So
still headed in the right direction.
Heading in the right direction. So.
It's funny. They don't, I keep pushing them about, hey, is this usual? I mean, you guys gave me the feeling that this was, we were heading in a bad way, around May or.
I mean, you did die.
Yeah, that was a telltale sign that things are not going in the right way.
When you die, it's a good sign.
So the first one that we got back was probably the most dramatic. And then it just keeps getting a little bit better and a little bit better. I just keep waiting for them to go, what the hell's going on with this guy? You should be 6 feet under right now, or at least, worse. I don't know why you're not.
We know why. We know why. You're meant for big things, John Baker. You're meant for big things.
They just won't recognize the protocol that we're on.
The power of the protocol.
Yeah.
Yep. That's okay. They don't have to. We do. I hope that if you guys know somebody, you recognize it too and share it. Yeah. That's why you're here. You're meant to save other lives. So that's good. Right?
Yep.
So, anywho.
There you go.
There you go.
There's your update, honey. You feel better?
I do. I've been feeling very anxious about not having one out there.
Yeah.
So I hope you see my shirt. Vote. If you haven't voted, and I really hope you vote my way, please. Please, God. Please. So what else? Next week on the 4th is surgery. That should hopefully be in and out. Hopefully.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that she said in her response was, you could be out the next day, which I was like, okay, you give me a little bit of hope, because if I can cross all the barriers, check all the boxes, you'll let me out the next day. I can do that.
He started with like 4 days, and then he's like, nope.
Yeah.
We do need a bigger fridge. Silly. We all need a bigger fridge. That's actually 2 fridges.
Nugget.
He would love it. There's a lot of food in there.
Yeah. You would. It's not half-eaten pizza by some other family, though, so he may throw it back at us. Yeah.
Yeah. So vote and send up good thoughts on the 4th for a quick in and out.
Yeah.
And that I can stay, because we still don't know if I can stay yet. And then we want me to stay. We want you to be in and out in just one night.
Yeah.
And to have a successful replacement of your Terminator head.
Right. And no plastic surgery right now. That they're not thinking they're going to need to do any kind of, what do they call it when they take grafting
Skin
or anything. They're going to have a plastic surgeon on call to come in if they need to. But my surgeon said, it doesn't look that bad. I think we'll be able to just move the plate around a little bit.
Replace.
And it should heal up just fine.
Thank you,
so,
Tanya.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for that.
Yep. That's it.
That's not bad. 33 minutes.
It's not bad after
for a lot.
After really long.
A lot of shit going on.
Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we'll let you know how the surgery goes next week. And what else? You're the bionic man, piece by piece. Or scotch tape. Duct tape.
I'm more of the scotch tape kind of guy.
Gorilla tape.
I got no problem with this thing. It's fine. I'm good.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, except if it backs out more, then you can get bugs in there. I'm like, bugs are like, well, infection,
You don't need an infection in your
I
brain.
don't need a brain infection. No. I got enough going on.
I don't need any more shit to have to deal with. Please. We're done. Anyway, that's all. Use bubblegum. Thank you guys for following along.
Yeah.
And I'll let you know next week for sure what happened with the surgery.
Yeah.
But scans. I can't wait to see it. I'll post a picture if he sends us. I'm gonna nag him until he sends us a picture. I'll post a picture. And yeah, no more pain. No more pain is good. No more pain is really good.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
We'll sign out.
I'm gonna
get a little more wine.
Good for you.
Bye.
Bye.